Hey guys, it's David Peterson from publicdomainphotography.com. What I'm going to do today is teach you how to wrap a texture or pattern around an object in Photoshop CS6. For the purpose of today, our object will be my hand in the OK sign that has been previously cut out from the background and desaturated, and the pattern or texture will be the Australian flag. The dimensions for both of these files is 4032 pixels by 3024 pixels. Now, as you can see, there's your cutout image. You've got to prepare this. If you need any help preparing your cutout image, drop me a line. I'll be happy to help, or I can send you one of mine previously cut out Photoshop images. It's entirely up to you. So use the move tool, click V or use the move tool, and then drag it over onto your layer. Now, it's key here that we position it in a location, a position that we're happy with. Now, it doesn't have to be vertical. If you like, you can use the free transform tool and move it into a position that you are comfortable with for your design. In this particular case, this horizontal position is quite attractive. Now I'm looking for landmarks on the attractive landmarks on the flag, and I think that probably the best position for this one will be with the large star here, and then the Union flag, which is the top left corner of the Australian flag, over the fingers. Should give us a nice effect. So now you've moved your object into position and you're satisfied with the position. Now we need to create what is known as a displacement map. So a displacement map basically allows you to displace your pattern, creating a high quality effect over when you're overlaying your object. So here's how we create a displacement map. Close layer 1, the flag or texture and pattern, and then you can either press Ctrl L for levels, or you can press select image, adjustments, levels. Now what we want to do is we want to contrast. We want a good high contrast, because the displacement map looks at the tones in the actual picture. So for instance, your whites will push in one direction, your blacks will push in another direction, and kind of your mild greys will be left untouched. So let's have a look here. So we've got a nice black there, bringing in a few highlights. So I'm satisfied that this should give me a reasonable outcome for the displacement map. Press OK. Now, as you can see here, it's a very crisp, clean image. What I would recommend is applying Gaussian blur. To apply Gaussian blur, select Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur. And just through trial and error, I've found that around 9 pixels works very well for this. Click OK. Now we need to save our displacement map. Now you're going to save it somewhere that you're able to remember and easily find. So to save, File, make sure you click Save As. So I've saved it as displacement map Australia flag. This way there can be no mistake about what we're trying to achieve. So click Save. Now you actually need to undo a little bit of your work. You can do this at Edit, Step Backward, or alternatively you can press Control, Alt and Z. So step backward and then Edit, Step Backward. We're back to our original desaturated hand. We now need to create a layer of the texture that we are going to displace. So drag your layer and over the create new layer. That's the easiest way I find. Just drag it down over the create new layer and then just move that above the hand, so you've got this new layer above the hand. Now this is what we need to displace. We have to displace this layer. So the way to do that is Filter, Distort, Displace. Now you'll have a default setting of around 10 and 10. Through trial and error, I've found that between 20 and 28 horizontal and vertical scale work really well. For the purpose of this exercise, we'll keep it at 20. Make sure Stretch to Fit is clicked and Repeat Edge Pixels is clicked, and then just click OK. Find your displacement map and then open up your displacement map. You see the image has been distorted around here, the star's been distorted, and this is just lifted slightly at the bottom. Don't worry about that, this is exactly what you'd expect. Now we actually need to select the hand, which is just below in layer 2. So to do this, hold Control and click on the object. You can see you've got a wonderful interpretation right there of your object. And now we just need to add a layer mask, and you'll see the hand cut out perfectly. So click Add Layer Mask. There we go. But as you can see, this looks like much of nothing. You can basically make the outline of the hand. So the first job is to apply a reduced opacity. I've found that around 77 to 80% works really good, but you adjust it for your needs. So you can just the beginnings of seeing your object coming through the texture. Then select Overlay. So you can see here, much clearer picture. You can make out the hand quite well. It's got some definition to it, but it doesn't look quite right. So go back and select your layer, and we're going to apply a little bit of Gaussian blur to this. So remember where Gaussian blur is: Filter, Blur, Gaussian blur. We're going to drop that down to about 3.2. Again, see here, very sharp image. There, just a little bit blurred, adding a little bit of realism to it, and click OK. And then image adjustments, levels. Just have a little play with your levels until you've achieved a realistic color that you want for the flag. Click OK, and then drop down to your layer 2, your object layer, and again layer adjustments, levels, or Control and L, and just arrange this slightly just to get the look you want. I actually don't mind a little bit of reflection in mine. I think it adds a more realistic look to the object. So you can see now you've got your flag with a clear definition of a hand, and you think, and that looks pretty good. If we zoom in, you can still make out fingerprints, you can make out the contours of the hand, nails. Basically what we're saying here is Australia A-OK. However, on its own it looks good, but one way to add some value to this picture, to make it complete, is I find is to add a background. Now open up your layer 1, your flag, your texture layer, click on that layer and add a new layer. At this point select the paint bucket tool or click G and ensure the color is set to white and color the layer in white. Now you want to select your eraser tool. You want to set it on 5000 pixels and hardness on 0, and select your original layer. Now hold it about central and give one click. I do apologize. Control Alt Z, just step back. Click on layer 3, the layer that we've just filled with the bucket, and as you can see the flag comes up behind there. I find personally that one central click and then one click over the object, over your hand, works really well. But what you can see here is there isn't much depth to the image. It's not really clear. So to do this we add a little bit of blur to layer 1, to the Australian flag. So Gaussian blur again, filter, blur, Gaussian blur, and just adjust that to a level where you can see the hand starting to stand out. And then to finish it off, edit, free transform, and just slightly offset the hand from the background. Click apply, and as you can see guys, you have a really beautiful blended texture. It's wrapped almost perfectly. You've got clear definition of the hand, and then you've got your flag or texture or pattern, whatever you want to call it, in the background. Hope this helped. Make sure you check out www.publicdomainphotography.com for your source for images for any use without restrictions. And also please comment, please get in touch and let me know if you enjoyed the video, any questions, any help you need, or indeed if you need any flags or background layers, give me a shout. I've got thousands in stockpile. Thanks very much guys, hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day.